Okay, so the last thing that we're going to tackle with the assists, and again, there are multitudes of things we just kind of talked about, with the exception of maybe the drumsticks, which are maybe a little bit unusual for people to be carrying around. Most everything else that we've dealt with, people carry on them on a day-to-day basis, including, and finally, a knapsack. So this thing, the technique that we're going to be doing here is a lot like what's involved with popping open the umbrella as a way of getting away. If you use your knapsack to keep your personal effects in, your identification, your keys, any of that stuff, whenever you go around the city, don't throw it. Don't use it as a weapon. Keep it with you, because if they get your identification plus your keys, pretty likely they're going to be waiting for you, or your place is going to be cleaned up before you get there. If it's a work bag, if you have like a dirty uniform, maybe whatever, gym clothes with maybe a pair of tennis shoes or something like that in there, something with a little bit of weight to it that is going to fly in the right direction, that's a little bit better, and then you can use that. So essentially, the footwork is going to be basically the same. So what Amanda's going to do is she's going to fade back and let it slide off her shoulder, and then she's just going to step forward, and it's best to do an underhand toss, right? If you're trying to go overhand like this, again, it puts too much muscular tension on the shoulder, and you can mess that up, and your direction isn't necessarily all that good. If you're just lobbing it, so you're stepping through and lobbing it, if you release fairly low, it's still going to be arcing upwards, basically at the general target. So again, so you're going to step back, you're just going to let it slide off your shoulder, and now as I come forward, you're going to step forward. Okay, there we go. And you can let it fly, or you can use it as potentially as a weapon, but you have to be careful. If you want to hold on to it, you have to be careful that I don't hold on to it as well, and then it becomes a struggling mess. So if you step forward and you can swing, and I grab it, it's like, oh, okay, I've still got you. So you want to have a little bit more distance. As you see me coming forward aggressively, this is a pretty good distance right here. So you step forward and launch, right? Boom. And that was perfect. That was right in the face. And there's not much secret to that sort of stuff. Again, so this is a pretty decent distance. I'm moving it forward aggressively, and you know that you're going to get into some trouble. So here, you're just going to step forward into it. Even if I knock it out of the way, there's that split second of flinch or thinking about something else that's coming at me, and it's that split second that could be the difference between her being able to get away or me catching up to her. And again, screaming at the top of your lungs as you're running away to try and get the attention of people that can help you out. So again, we'll walk through this nice and slow again. I'm stepping in aggressively. She's going to step forward and swing and run. And the footwork is the same as well. So it's stepping in, turning, and pushing off. So your front foot becomes your back foot, and you're pushing off with that and going in the opposite direction as fast as you can.